Okay, so these are going to be some muscle up progressions. Really recommend that your athletes have a high volume of like strict pull-ups, an efficient skill level of knowing how to do kipping or butterfly pull-ups. So a lot of the muscle up progressions come from your hips and your legs, as well as your lats, by understanding how to use your legs and keeping a hollow body position to help get over in that muscle up, especially for the kip up and the turnover. So what I'm going to show you first is when people use wraps, they tend to not use them correctly. One way you want to use wraps is fold them here, so then I can place the bar. That'll help lock my hands into the bar really well for any type of pulling up that I do. So therefore I don't have to worry about hands slipping off the bar or any turnover issues at all. But it gives me a really solid grip and keeps my knuckles on top of the bar. So one progression that we're going to work on first is learning how to stay in a hollow body and get your hips. It's called to the bar. It's called a kip glide. So you can start with simple just kip motions, keeping the feet in the hollow body Superman position. And then as athletes get this going, we're going to start working on getting their hips up and understanding how to stay tight. One of the big issues that people run into is they'll try to pop over the bar and they'll run into their chest because they don't understand that they actually need to get the bar down to the hip area. So if they can work on progressively getting that hip closer and closer to the bar, then it's going to be much easier when they get into their Superman position, follow through on the hollow body position, and they pull the hip over here. Now they just got to understand that they're trying to flip themselves over the bar into the dip position for the lockout. One of the other ways, if someone's very close to doing a muscle up, is I sometimes have them do a running jump start to get into that position just to do the muscle up. So instead of starting underneath the rig, they can actually jump into it and do the turnover. From the top, when they do complete a muscle up, there's two different options to go from. Some people will free fall from here and go straight underneath back to their Superman hollow position. Some people will go down to their chest. I like to teach a beginner to go to the chest because it's just like our kip. Then you can push the bar away. So I'm going to start from the top, which is another regression we could use to teach an athlete once they get up there how to continue another muscle up progression. So they can use the box, pop up as much as they need to. Obviously move around away from the box so they're here. And now I'm going to tell them get the bar to their chest area, and then from here push the bar away. And then same thing, pop, pull, push over. So that would be the next step if someone's very close. Another regression from that is just using the box itself. We can still work on everything that we need to with the Superman hollow position, jump, and pull in the bar. So I'm working through the box. I'm going to jump up. I'm going to work on pulling myself as close to my hip as possible. The only thing that you may run into with this is that you don't have the ability to get the hip up like we would without the box. And it may start teaching too much of going straight up when they come through. But it is one regression you can work. So come through, pop, push over. The last thing that we can do for the regression of a muscle up is an actual just strict pull up into a dip. However you would like to do it. Athletes can get a really good strict, work on that hollow body position, do their pull up, kipping pull up, whatever they need to, and then they can set up some rings right next to it and finish with the top portion and hit a dip. One way they can also add it in is after doing the strict pull up, they can put their body in this position, working on pulling the rings to the hips, turning over into that dip. So just to slow it down, all I'm doing is pulling to my hips. Right here I'm creating an extension with my hip like I would towards the bar. And then when I get that extension, I'm turning myself over the bar, just like you would with the ring muscle up as well. And those are all the regressions you can use for muscle up.